Hi everyone and welcome back to my emulating Messi series. It's been a long time since the last video. I've been pretty busy and it takes time to holiday the game because it takes up a lot of processing power on my computer and it means I can't do other things. So I've let it run for 3 years and we're all 30 years old now. I just let it run in the background whilst I was doing other things. But before I get cracking with this, I'd just like to let you know about my new YouTube channel called King Pazza. Just a little nickname I had years ago for online purposes. And I'm just going to be uploading random gaming videos, anything actually. I've got a decent bridge camera that records in HD, so I might do some random videos of me or friends or whatever. But at the moment I've started a Civilization series. I'm into chess as well, did a couple of chess videos, and I've started some online games. So if you've got any suggestions, let me know what you want to do, but please hit that subscribe button, that would be really handy. I'm up to 134 subscribers already, which is really good, and I'm pleased with that. So if you're interested in me and my style of videos and want to see a bit more personality, then check out that channel. But back to emulating Messi. So let's see how the players have got on now. They're all hitting that 30-year mark, and see where we all are value-wise. Most expensive player is Indrit Berisha, then it's Alberto Romanini, then it's myself. And we'll look at contract quickly. Biggest contract is myself, 165k a week. The only player to have over 100k a week. Then it's Indrit Berisha. And now we'll have a quick look at selection info. Last season, highest average rating, Justin Segubo, but only played a few games. Then Tobin Fitsum. Goals wise, it was Work the Space with 18, and appearances wise, it was myself, mainly off the bench from Man City. Maybe I'm a super sub, I don't know, although didn't score many goals or get a very good average rating, which is a shame. But there you go. Oh, and international, we'll have a quick look at that overall analysis. Hadrian Pranjato has 152 cuts for Indonesia now. Kai Siaki has 150 for Australia. That's no mean feat at all, that's impressive. And goals wise, Work the Space, 70 goals in 90 games for India. That is very good indeed. Anyway, back to selection info, and we shall go down the list of players, starting with the goalkeeper, Even Stevens, who's at Southampton, has 24 caps for England, and has been at Southampton a long old time now. These are his last 3 seasons and how he's done. Not the best average rating wise, but in the Premiership we'll just have a quick look, see how they did. And they finished 7th. Man United won the league. You can see for yourself how everyone got on. Just have a quick look through the English divisions whilst we are here now. West Ham have got promoted with Watford and Cardiff, Wolves Wednesday and Wickham going down. League 1, Leeds going up, Morecambe and Gillingham as well. And League 2, we'll have a quick look at that. Mansfield, Orient, Carlisle and Northampton. Leicester are in League 2 and they had 10 points deducted. They've really dropped every single time I do an experiment or something along these lines. Leicester do really poorly. It's very strange. Anyway, moving on to Kai Siaki, who's at Roma and has been for a long old time now, and gets very impressive average ratings in Serie A, helping them to the title this season. First time for years. Juventus won the last 2, and I forgot to look actually at the Premiership, how everyone did in the last 2 years. But this is what happened in Serie A this season. We'll have a look in a minute when I go back to a Premiership player. Boyd Driesen at Real Madrid, 39 caps for Holland, and moved to Real Madrid. Did we already know about this? Anyway, moved for 17 million from Arsenal, and played for Castilla that season, but did manage to get into the first team. Not particularly good average ratings, but helping Real Madrid win the league. Granada second above Barcelona. Granada won it 2 seasons ago. That's incredible. Surely they must have had a takeover or something. I mean, that's just really unusual. We'll have a quick look, see at their information if they're rich. And they are secure. Wow. They've done very well, whatever. They've managed to win La Liga. Okay, moving on to Curtis Thorpe, who is at Celtic. 2 goals in 41 games for Scotland. Moving from Arsenal for 4.5 million. After doing okay for them, but never really excelling. Only played 3 games in the league previous to his move. And this season helped Celtic to first place for about the 5 millionth time. I've clicked on Rangers here. Look at that, crazy. Rangers have finished second every single season, but just haven't had that drive to finish first at all. Maybe they will do one day. I'll probably do a couple more episodes until we retire. Moving on to Stula Rocha, San Marino player, 3 goals in 78 games for San Marino, is now at Leverkusen after leaving Gladbach for 3.2 million. And has had very good average ratings actually in the first division in Germany, helping them to finish mid-table. Schalke won it the last 3 years above Bayern Munich. It's interesting to see. Moving on to Josh Eagle, who's still in an Israeli club. It's a shame what's happened to him. I mean, he's not even really excelled with South Africa, the national team, and has been at this team, Hayfo, is that? I can't remember the first word for that, but I don't think they'd have won it. They finished second a couple of times. But yeah, Josh Eagle's gone downhill, unfortunately. When we get to the end, we will look at the biographies of the players. This is Justin Segubo, who has 13 goals in 102 caps for Philippines, and is also in the Middle East in a Saudi Arabian club, Al Shabab. Great name. And has had incredible average ratings, but not played many games. But yeah, impressive average ratings and very good attributes. Corners, free kicks, passing, some very good attributes there. Moving on to Irian Lea Djuram, Norwegian left back, 66 caps for Norway now. Never really fulfilled his potential because obviously he started at Bayern Munich and has been at Napoli, moving for big money, but he's just gone downhill, which is a real shame. Moving from Napoli to Varese in Serie A, and then to Evian in League 1, and now finally to Stade Brestois, also in League 1, and played a lot of games for them. But they did get relegated. PSG won it by a mile, and they've won it the last 5 years, destroying everyone. Moving on to Hadrian Pranjoto, most capped player that we have for Indonesia, and he's at Arsenal. And let's see, he moved for 28 million from Juventus, who did buy him from Man United. He's moved for huge amounts of money, surely the most accumulatively the most amount of money out of any player, surely. I mean, 23 million, 26.5 million, and then 28 million, 82 million in total. It's crazy. So yeah, really impressive player, very good attributes. Moving on to, we forgot to look at the history of the Premiership the last couple of years. We'll look at that next time. So we've got Bombadil, 5 goals in 101 games for Chile. That is very impressive. Chile is a brilliant team, as I'm sure most of you know. And defensive midfield as well. Obviously, he's going to have to put up with Vidal in there. Bizak Ganoa moved for 10.75 million from Benfica, and is getting a lot of game time in Serie A. Next up is Suraj Punia, who's at Celtic. 11 games for Scotland. He's never really fulfilled anything. I mean, he's been at Chelsea, Liverpool, and now Celtic, and for some reason he's never broken into the Scottish team. I did do a scout report on the players at the start, just being manager of Chelsea, in a separate sort of, I just saved it separately to see what star ratings they would get, and Punia was top at the time, and he's never fulfilled that potential. And this, I did the scout report when they were about 21. It's not like they were, yeah, really young. Moving on to Bob the Builder, who everyone seems to hate for some reason, who is currently at AC Ajaccio, and moved for 2.9 million from Lorient, And not brilliant average ratings, but has a few caps for Albania. 7 goals in 41 games for them. Alberto Romanini, our other San Marino player, is at Barcelona. That is brilliant to see. 5 goals in 92 games for them, and isn't even the top player. I think someone said because of these two players it has allowed San Marino to produce better quality regions, and that is so true because, I mean, he's not great, but the top two look really good, and they are up to 157th in the world. Argentina are top. Just looking at the average, just looking at the world rankings, but yeah, they're, you know, not as low as they usually are. They're usually right at the bottom. I think we should probably look at the World Cup as well, actually. Is the World Cup here? World Cup, okay. So Spain won it in 2022. Argentina previously to that. And the next one, which is this year, in fact, these are the teams involved. England in there, Scotland in there as well. So we'll just have a quick look at the final. It was 2-0 against Cameroon, which is, yeah, Spain world champions once again. Moving on to Mohamed Omar Koshuna, who's at Arsenal, 43 goals in 110 games for Palestine. Quite obviously the best player. 121st in the world, that is really high, considering they've only just probably been accepted as a FIFA country in recent years. So with Arsenal, he's been there a long time, doing reasonably well, lots of assists that year, and a few goals and assists as well. Like I said, we'll look at the end of the series at biographies to see how many trophies people have won and that sort of thing. Moving on to myself, at Man City, 7 goals in 55 games for England. Will Hughes is the top player for England, age 31 at Arsenal. I'm 4th on the list actually, which isn't bad at all. I'm happy with that. Ross Barkley's at Man United, Luke Shaw's at Man City. Let's have a quick look at him actually. Looks good, 71 caps. And Ross Barkley, 95 caps, 44 goals. That's very impressive for an attacking midfielder. Back to myself anyway. Looking good, much better than the last series anyway. I'm happy with that. And earning the most, probably because I'm at Man City, but still, mainly sub appearances this season. The last 2 seasons to that, I did make a lot of starts. This season, for some reason, maybe they signed someone else that was better and came into the team. I was coming off the bench mainly. We'll have a quick look at Champions League whilst I remember actually, just to see who won it. It was Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Man United the last 3 seasons. Barcelona beating Man United in the final. Bayern Munich beating Barcelona, Man United beating Bayern Munich. Cool. 3 teams involved. Okay, now on to Jay Harris, who is transfer listed by Oldham. He's really... some players just didn't make it, and that's the way it goes. Look at him, he's really poor. Really poor. And it's a great shame. In the next series, I'll probably do end of January time, I reckon. I will put everyone as the full potential minus 10, which means we can have a potential between 180 and 200. So it will be less likely for something like this to happen. Poor old Jay Harris. Dennis Terry at Hanover, 10 goals in 56 games for Macedonia. And yeah, let's have a quick look. He moved to Hanover from Schalke, which he would have won the first division with at some point, although he didn't really play any games. Moved to Hanover, I can't talk. Moved to Hanover for 7.5 million. 13 games played that season in the league, and only 4 this year. So he's not getting many games, but he's got caps for Macedonia, so be happy with that. Jordan Cressy, still at Man City, 1 goal in 23 games for England. Was looking like he'd be the main star for England at one point, but never really has had many games at all in his career. Only 117 league appearances, and he is 30 years old. But he's played for two of the biggest teams, but he's just never been a mainstay in the team, which is disappointing. It'd have done so much better if it just gone to a mid-table team. It's probably a lesson for some players to learn. Boss Rackley is at Porto, 7 goals in 51 caps for Nigeria, which is pretty impressive to be fair. And has never, once again, not a huge number of league appearances, but has done pretty well for Porto. Only played 4 league games last season. They have won the league, sharing it with Benfica over the years. Sporting finished 2nd this year though. Okay, Napolina Nalaga is at Sparta Prague, 13 goals in 51 games for Fiji. Probably don't play that many games, he'd have more caps if they did. And he's been around a bit, went for a free to Los Angeles, played in the MLS for a while, before moving back to Europe, playing for Sparta Prague, helping them to win the league both seasons in Czech Republic, and good average ratings as well. Okay, Nicolas Lafrenz, the Danish winger, was set to be like a real superstar. And he's at Dortmund, which is an excellent club. 5 goals in 43 games for Denmark, but that's only 5 goals. And I'd have thought he'd have played more games for Denmark than that, considering the clubs he's been at. He's been at Barca, Madrid and Dortmund, as well as Ajax. That's incredible. I mean, he got a few games for Real Madrid, not many, but has moved to Dortmund, 14.75 million, and has done very well for them. It's just strange. I thought it'd be on 100 caps of Denmark, player of that stature. But I mean, I wouldn't say he's the best winger in the world looking at the attributes, but he's been picked up by big teams. Frederick Danen, Belgian, 4 goals in 34 games, is at Havre Athletic Club, and yeah, it doesn't look brilliant, to be honest. He's played for Newcastle, and then went to Veris for 2 million before moving to Havre Athletic Club in France for 4 million, and only played 1 game in the league. I mean, what's that all about? I'm very confused. Must have had an injury. And he only played 8 games before he moved that season, so don't know what's going on there, to be honest. Moving on to Matty Hodgson, is at Livorno, 35 games and 72 games for the Cape Verde Islands. And, I mean, he's another one. Was at Real Madrid at one point, before moving to Saint Etienne and moving to Atlanta for 4.4 million, and then 2.1 million to Livorno, moving around Italy. Moving on to James McTard, 3 goals in 37 games for China, and doesn't look great, really poor now, and has no club after leaving Watford in the Championship. Went on loan to Hangzhou in China, but yeah, he's slumped as well. A few players have slumped. Pippin is at Rubin, no caps for Spain, but obviously that's probably the hardest team to get into. But has been at Rubin a while and has done alright for them. Not brilliant, but done alright, and looks a handy player to have in your team. Joey McCall, obviously retired, like I said before. Tobin Fitsum at Celtic, another player at Celtic. We've got 3 players there now. 6 goals in 50 games for USA. Had the best average rating this season out of any player. Moved for 5.5 million from Porto. Probably a good move for him as he wasn't getting many games, and has played a fair few games for Celtic in the last couple of seasons anyway. Then we have Mike Joshua. Eventually left Arsenal. I mean, he moved to the club he supported in Arsenal, but they didn't play him much. Managed to get 1 goal in 3 games for England early in his career, but never got many games for Arsenal at all. Most of his league appearances were at the start of his career, and in the last 2 years at Southampton, where he managed to get 10 league goals and then 5. So 10 goals and 8 goals in total this season. Not bad. He's a good striker to have to get you a few goals. Omar Garicito has retired after never really breaking into many teams at all. Played for Ponte Preta, 25 goals in 71 games for them, but decided to retire, and you can see his biography there if you fancy reading it. Nearly at the end, Work the Space is at Inter, done a lot better than last time, and has done very well for India once again, and has been at Inter quite a few seasons now, but not getting many goals. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the assist. Getting lots of goals. 15 goals that season, 17 this last season, and 18 this season. So he's done very well goals-wise, which is good to see. He's also an attacking midfielder, as well as being a giant striker. A few more to go. Mr. Donnelly, our FM guru. 5 goals in 23 games for Ipswich, for Ireland. He's been at Ipswich though for a few seasons in the Championship, and he's done all right. It's a shame he did better on the last series, I believe. Got 10 goals in the Championship this season, helping them to a... Where did they finish? Look at Tranmere in 4th, Bournemouth as well. Ipswich finished mid-table 11th. That's where they always seem to finish nowadays. Conor Slomski, Polish, 9 goals in 32 games for them. Is at CSK Moscow now. Been there for ages now and done reasonably well goals-wise. 16 goals, 13 goals and 7 goals. Not so good this season. And they finished 2nd, but they won the league the 4 seasons previous to that. So he's picked up a fair few medals. Chico's at Inter as well, the strike partnership with Work the Space. 33 goals in 91 games for Hungary, very impressive. And yep, been along with Work the Space at Inter a long time. Doesn't get as many goals. You'd have thought Work the Space would be the one setting Chico up with the headers and the flick-ons, but Chico, he's got a few goals, but doesn't seem to get as many as his strike partner. Although he's really tall as well, to be fair, so maybe he's the one flicking it onto Work the Space. Absolute beast with the technical attributes. Okay, moving on to James Messi at Everton. Gibraltarian, is that what they're called? 11 goals in 38 games for Gibraltar. And been at Everton for 3 years after moving for 4.7 million from Marseille. And 5 goals each season in the league. That's quite impressive. And not been brilliant, but he's been okay. Stephen Whitecastle III, 16 goals in 63 games for Scotland. He's got plenty of Scottish caps. Now at Everton as well, playing alongside James Messi, I'm guessing. And doing a bit better goals-wise. It's 18 goals, 14 goals, and they're not so good this season, only 6 goals. Had a pretty poor season this season, as did Everton, I think, finishing 17th, so that's probably the main problem there. And lastly, Indrit Berisha at Bayern Munich, 40 goals in 78 games for Albania. That's a good record, and has been at Bayern Munich for years, scoring 15 goals, 19 goals, and then 15 goals, getting plenty of goals for Bayern Munich, and has been one of the most successful players, in fact. So, that's the end of this episode. I will holiday another, I think I'll do 4 years this time. 4 or 5 years, 4 years I think, and then after that I'll holiday it till everyone's retired and see how everyone's done, and see if anyone takes up coaching positions, managerial positions, that sort of thing. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my second channel, that would be much appreciated. The link's in the description below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode.